A lot of people are not going to like this, but it's something that needs to be said, because it only seems to be getting worse. The fact that about 20% of all new car loans are over $1,000 per month, with a hefty chunk of those being 84-month loans, really shows you how out of control this has gotten. Everyone wants a brand new car with all the bells and whistles, but is it really worth throwing such a big chunk of your disposable income at just one item? To the point where you're pretty much broke? And then a lot of these same people have nothing invested. Sure, some people can afford those payments and choose them because borrowing costs are low, but do you really think that's the majority? Of course not. Yet the same people driving expensive cars are the same ones turning around and complaining they can't afford a house, can't afford this, can't afford that. And yeah, they'll blame the car makers for raising prices, or claim there are no used cars, or even say it's society's fault for making cars a necessity. But what about the people willingly signing up for these loans? No one's forcing them, unless maybe it's the salesman or their spouse. It's absolutely mind-blowing how much money you can blow through if you go to the store without strict discipline. People go shopping for fun, not because they actually need something. If you're shopping for clothes and not being specific about what you want and where you're shopping, you can easily end up spending $500 on a few pair of pants and a couple of shirts. Are you bored? How about heading over to Amazon? Without being careful, you can easily spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But that's not even the crazy part. The crazy part is how much of it was unintended or unneeded, and how much of it sits in your closet unused or worn once. It's estimated that most people only wear about 20% of the clothes they own regularly. According to a study by Statista, 22% of Americans took more than 6 trips last year, and only 29% didn't travel at all. Nearly 4 in 10 people went on at least 4 trips in just 12 months. And it's not just the wealthy households making this happen. We're talking about everyday people, booking flights, hotels, and rental cars multiple times per year. You might know someone making $60,000 per year who just went to Disney in the spring, took a weekend trip to Nashville in the summer, flew to Colorado for a wedding in the fall, and is already planning a Caribbean cruise for the winter. It makes you wonder, are people actually able to afford this, or is it all going on credit cards and buy now, pay later plans? Maybe they can afford to pay cash, but that begs the question, what are they sacrificing for this? Another note on travel and wedding spending, it feels like everyone expects you to travel for their wedding now. And it's never just the wedding anymore, it's a whole multi-event production. There's the bachelor party in Vegas, the bachelorette party in Miami, a bridal shower back home, and then the actual wedding stuff, which, of course, takes place in some remote mountain lodge that costs $600 a night with a mandatory weekend package. And from the bride and groom's perspective, it makes sense. This is their once-in-a-lifetime memory, hopefully, and they want to make it special. But from the perspective of friends and family, it's chaos. Like you get that save-to-date and immediately start calculating how many organs you can sell to afford it. Then if you have multiple friends or cousins getting married in the same year, forget it. You basically need a second job just to celebrate other people's relationships. Not to mention that you won't have time to be working another job because all your time off is used up. And yet somehow, everyone seems to be going, and you're just sitting there thinking, am I the only one who doesn't have $5,000 laying around for other people's weddings? You wonder why people are confused when they can't afford everything they want, particularly the younger people who don't know anything else. It seems like this is why a lot of people don't understand why they can't afford life. It's not a normal thing to be able to drive a luxury car, go shopping anytime you're bored, or go on a long-distance vacation half a dozen or more times per year. We were never meant to be watching and be privy to so many people not in our tax brackets. Our parents saw their neighbors, their family. They weren't surrounded by wealth 24/7 unless they themselves were wealthy. These days, people are constantly surrounded by rich or fake rich people online. You'll see clips like, "Come with me to pick up my new car," or "Let's go house shopping," often showing open houses priced at $5 million. Are they genuinely wealthy? Maybe, but the reality is that even if they are, that lifestyle isn't something everyone should feel pressured to match. Most of what gets posted online is tailored for attention, highlighting exactly what viewers want to see. Few people post, "Come to the mechanic for my preventative maintenance on my 15-year-old Camry," or "Let's go look at apartments priced below our means," which is the more typical everyday experience. It's not the internet solely, it's the ease and access to credit. This is definitely a big part of it. It's not just the internet showing you what everyone else has. It's how easy it is now to get credit for just about anything. There's really no need to save up and wait for something you actually want, even though that waiting period is exactly what keeps overall spending in check. Back in the day, if you wanted a new car or a big ticket item, you had to save for months or years. And often by the time you actually had the money, you realized you didn't even care about it anymore. At that point, you still have the money saved up, but no desire to spend it. Now it's completely different. If you want a new car, you don't need to plan or save, you just sign some papers, maybe hand over a down payment, and drive off. That instant gratification makes it way easier to overspend and accumulate debt without even realizing it. I think about this a lot when people claim they live paycheck to paycheck. What are they including in that calculation? Just because you end up spending your whole paycheck every month doesn't mean you actually had to. A MarketWatch survey found that 66% of Americans feel like they're living paycheck to paycheck. And no, it's not because they're earning minimum wage. 48% of those earning $100,000 or more per year say they're living paycheck to paycheck. And 36% of people making $200,000 or more say the same. But then there's the question nobody asks. What exactly is included in that calculation? A lot of people assume paycheck to paycheck means barely paying rent or putting food on the table. It's often about lifestyle choices. If your paycheck disappears every month because you've got 2 huge car payments, a massive mortgage, 3 streaming services, DoorDash 4 nights a week, and 3 weddings to fly to this summer, technically, yes, you're living paycheck to paycheck. But you're not broke, you're just committed. It's like the person making $150,000 a year who says they're barely getting by. But they're also paying $1,500 a month for 2 luxury SUVs, spending $900 every month on brunch and takeout, and somehow have front row seats to their favorite sporting event. That's not poverty, that's priorities. Divorce attorney here. I see your finances, and this is absolutely true. People are fighting over who takes on the debt since there's no actual assets, just debts. This is hitting everyone, from low income to high income clients. Spend less, people. People who actually get a behind-the-scenes look at others' finances know this all too well. That image of wealth is usually just that, a carefully crafted facade. Car salespeople who run credit checks and see down payments often report that the people who appear the wealthiest can barely qualify for financing and are scraping together enough for a down payment. Mortgage brokers and other financial professionals tell the same story. Time and time again, the ones who look the richest on the surface often have the least to show for it. The thing most people don't realize is that going all out in every category of spending is not normal. Sure, it might feel normal if you look around at the average person. Everyone has a slightly nicer phone, takes a weekend getaway without a second thought, or upgrades their car every few years. But this wasn't the case for previous generations, and it's not how people live in many other countries. A few decades ago, people saved more and spent less on fleeting luxuries. With that said, it's not like you can't enjoy yourself. You should be able to upgrade your lifestyle as your finances improve. And most people can afford to have fun, just not across the board all at once. You can pick 1 or 2 categories where you want to splurge the most and focus your extra money there. If travel excites you, go all in on trips. Skip the flashy cars, avoid constant shopping sprees, and don't stress about having the most recently updated home. If eating out and trying new restaurants constantly is your thing, then that's where your disposable income goes, not to fancy vacations, premium coffee every morning, and designer clothes all at the same time. The key, though, is that this is only sustainable after you've taken care of the essentials. Paying off debt, saving, and investing. You can't blow through your paycheck on experiences or toys and expect your future self to be secure. Someone might love traveling and put an extra $500 a month towards trips. But if they're also maxing out credit cards and skipping retirement contributions, that fun ends up costing more than it's worth. Done right, you get the enjoyment you want without jeopardizing your financial stability. And that's the balance people need.